Namaskar. I Shambhavi welcome you all to your channel Galactic Echoes. So today we'll be talking about a contemporary topic from dynamic astrology, that is Saturn's transit through all the ascendants and how will it affect the different natives in different ascendants. And first of all, we'll discuss some general points that we have to take note of in this transit, and then we'll move on to specific ascendants. So let's dive in. So when analyzing the Saturn's transit, I will suggest you that you look it through your ascendant and not from your moon chart, because moon chart is the secondary thing, and it also tells us about the mental status and mental well-being of the native. And if you have to look how a particular transit will affect you, then you'll have to look onto the ascendant sign, which is the most important thing in astrology. Now, the second thing to notice that the role of Ashtakvarga table. Ashtakvarga table is a 8-point system which is given in classical texts. It is used for determining the strength of that planet in a particular sign. For example, if Saturn has bestowed you with 4 marks, then it has given average points, it has given okay points to you in the sign of Pisces. Now here it is very important to see that the Saturn's points are on the greater side. Why? Because you want the Saturn to give you more points, and you do not want to give Saturn major points in your lordship signs, that is Capricorn and Aquarius. So you want the Saturn to give more points in different rashis or different signs rather than its own original signs which he rules, because the transits, they indicate the fruits will reap from this Saturn, and the lordships, and the if like for a Cancer Ascendant, if Capricorn is falling into your 7th house, then this indicates that you will have to put the hard work and your karma in that sphere of the life to reap the results wherever the Saturn transits in your lifetime. So this is an important thing to note. So the transits are about reaping the results and the fruits of the past action, while the natal placement of Saturn, it reflects the areas where you have to work and you have to be disciplined and you have to put your hard work in. So understanding the distinction help us interpreting the Saturn's transit and Saturn's influence in your chart in the different signs during its specific transits. Now the other thing to note is that the Pisces sign is the sign of water element and is one of the sign of the Moksha Trikona. So to gain deeper insights, we'll have to look into this dimension also, that a Moksha Trikona is getting activated. What this shows is that the Moksha Trikona, that is the 4th, 8th and 12th, that is the Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces sign, they constitute the Moksha Trikona. So the specific life area they capture is spirituality, liberation, transformation, and this Saturn's transit will impact majorly through these themes only. The first is transformation, the second is liberation, and the third is spirituality. Now another thing to note is that the Saturn retrograde, if you have Saturn retrograde in your natal chart, this means that whatever results I'll share with you all further in the video will be pronounced. Like, as the people know, the basic going about the retrograde planets is that they are very much confusing, they make the native very much confusing, and it is all related to mistakes, repeating mistakes in the particular area of that life wherever that retrograde planet is placed in your birth chart. But this is not so. See, retrogression is very much different, and according to me, you should have retrograde planets in your chart. But we'll discuss it in another video which I'll be bringing maybe next week. So please stay tuned for that. We'll be discussing what exactly is retrogression and why is it important in our charts. So if you have Saturn retrograde, so all these results will be pronounced. You will be able to feel that results in a profound way. Now, another thing to note here is that the combustion of Saturn. If you have a combust Saturn in your natal chart, then this represents that either you will have some problems related to your vitality or your recognition and from government, or you will be promoted and pushed towards those things, those karakas. If your Saturn and your Sun, if your Sun is not damaged and the combustion is happening in a good house, then it will indicate that yes, you will receive great achievements and recognition in this period of 2.5 years. Now, another thing which we'll have to take into consideration is that Saturn is a airy planet, and it is going into a watery sign, which is Pisces. So, although the themes of liberation, transformation are profound and they'll be seen, but emotional and spiritual shifts can also be seen with this placement. And because Saturn is completing one cycle, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac belt, so it also means that there will be ending of certain patterns, certain karmic cycles, and the beginning of the new ones. But you will feel these things when it touches the Revati nakshatra, the last nakshatra of the Pisces sign. In the beginning, it is all about the Purv Bhadrapad, then Uttar Bhadrapad, which are ruled by Jupiter, and then Uttar Bhadrapad is ruled by Saturn itself. So the themes will be divided throughout all the 2.5 years. It won't be same. But today we'll focus just on the Purva Bhadrapad portion, because the Purva Bhadrapad nakshatra is ruled by Jupiter and the Pisces sign is too ruled by Jupiter. So you will see the similar kind of results here. But it will drastically change when Saturn will hit the Uttar Bhadrapad nakshatra, and then when it will hit the Revati nakshatra. So I'll bring the videos for these specific nakshatras in the future, but today we'll just stick to the Jupiter, the relevance of Jupiter and Saturn. So a windy planet going into a watery sign, of course it will, yes, things will go haywire in starting, because it is something like that a hurricane touching the ocean. So of course you'll see high tides this time, but we do not have to worry, because we'll break down each ascendants and the importance of this transit for you all. So let's begin. So for the Aries Ascendant, Pisces falls into their 12th house and Saturn will be transiting in your 12th house. So the Saturn's transit emphasizes here that liberation, spiritual growth and devotion. It may bring upheavals in relationships. It is also the signaling of ending old cycles and beginning of new ones. Foreign connections, travel or spiritual exploration could play a significant role for you this time for the period of 2.5 years. There may also be some restrictions on expenditures, prompting a deeper exploration to the inner self. You will be forced to introspect into your expenditures this time, because it is the 12th house which is involved. As the Aquarius sign falls into your 11th house, so the Saturn influences desires related to social circles and aspirations. This transit brings fruitful outcomes, especially through connections with people from foreign backgrounds or distant places. People, if you have some connections in your workplace or in your professional life which are coming from, which have foreignness in them and which have that a sense of Rahu in them, the foreignness, they will bring great results into your life this time. So these social networks could provide unexpected support or opportunities to you this time. The Capricorn, which falls into your 10th house and is a part of Earth Tricorn, it indicates that the Saturn's lordship over Capricorn highlights career and professional growth. This transit may open doors to opportunities, to foreign opportunities, I must say, and collaborations in the professional sphere. However, also this Saturn calls for you to be disciplined and hardworking totally towards your professional life, I must say, because there are high chances of you getting promoted or something like that. So you'll see the major theme for you is you might also uncover some new spiritual dimensions this time, some new spiritual beliefs and ideologies also, or you can also channelize your work towards humanitarian needs, because then the involvement and the relevance of Pisces, the 12th sign, which is originally the 12th sign, the Moksha Tricorn, is then inculcated in your professional life and your gains. So the key theme for Aries ascendants is that you'll see a focus on inner transformation and spiritual practices. This is the first one. The second one is that the opportunities or challenges also tied to foreign lands or people or cultures may surface. Now, desires related to social circles and career may see progress, but with the need for patience and effect. Financial constraints are, you need to limit those expenditures. There will be financial constraints, and you'll have to balance and have a deeper exploration of the self and your spiritual well-being and your spiritual inclination as well. The impact of the Saturn will greatly depend on your natal chart. Wherever the Saturn is placed, this 2.5 years will also be very much influenced by the Mahadasha and Antardasha you are running through when the Saturn enters this sign of Pisces. Because if you are running through Rahu's Mahadasha, then Rahu will be the most important planet for you in this transit. Why? Because when it will enter into the Pisces on 29th of March, it will meet Rahu and retrograding Venus over there. These results will be greatly differed. So I'll be making a video on planetary war, so you'll have to stay tuned to find out what will then be happening. But if you are going through Saturn Mahadasha, then whatever points I'll be discussing in that video, then those points will be inclined towards Saturn, because your Saturn Mahadasha, you are running through your Saturn Mahadasha. But if you are running through your Rahu's Mahadasha, then all the energies and everything will be inclined towards Rahu. And if you are running through your Venus Mahadasha, then all the things will be inclined towards that planet. So for that, you'll have to stay connected, and next week I'll drop that video for the planetary war which is going to happen in the Pisces sign as soon as the Saturn enters the Pisces. Now Saturn's transit for the Taurus Ascendant. So how it will manifest in your lives. See, the Saturn transit through the 11th house of your natal chart, birth chart. The Pisces sign falls there because you are the Taurus Ascendant. So Saturn is a Yoga Karaka planet for you. Now this 11th house is one of the Kam Trikon houses, right? So your Kam Trikon is getting activated now. But originally the Pisces sign, being the one of the most Trikon, will also have the qualities of that liberation, transformation, emotionality and spirituality as well. How will this transit unfold to you? So first of all, this Saturn's transit into your 11th house brings a focus on desires, goals and social transformation in your aspirations, with a shift towards spiritual or humanitarian pursuits, because this 11th house is co-ruled by Rahu. Now gains from friends, social circles or networks are likely, because it is also the original house of Saturn as well. But they'll require practice and effort. This is also a time to let go of material attachments and embrace a more devoted, selfless approach to life. Also, you might find certain responsibilities you will have to take towards your elder siblings, especially because the elder sibling is the living karaka who is associated with the 11th house. Now the Saturn has the lordship of the 10th house in your chart, which is Aquarius sign. As a lord of Aquarius, Saturn influences your career, your professional growth. So this transit may bring opportunities for you, growth for you, especially in fields related to technology, innovation or social causes. However, success will come only through disciplined effort and a sense of responsibility. You may also feel a stronger calling to align your work with some higher purpose, because the most Trikon energies are also flowing into your 10th house, because Saturn is transiting in a watery sign, which is Pisces. Now the next thing which we'll have to look is Saturn's lordship over Capricorn, which is your 9th house. So it highlights that your sense of purpose, higher learning and spiritual growth is sure in this period. Now this transit, it encourages you to take a more structured and mature approach towards your beliefs and your philosophies and your ideologies and the global perspectives you possess. You may feel drawn to deeper studies or long distance travel or spiritual practices as well that bring transformation and liberation. You will be drawn towards these things. Now, if a very important point to note here is, if your relationship with fathers or mentors or gurus or your teachers is suffering, then this indicates proper resolution of those disputes. Whatever the result may be, negative or positive, there will be the resolution of that dispute surely in this period of 2.5 years, especially when this Saturn will transit into the Revati Nakshatra. So the key theme for all the Taurus ascendants is maturity and responsibility. Saturn's influence demands discipline, practice, and a mature approach towards achieving your goals and resolving disputes or having relationships with your father and gurus or mentors. Pisces brings a spiritual undertone to everything, encouraging you to let go of ego driven desires and embrace selfless service this time. Also, the opportunities for your professional growth will align with your higher purpose, but only through hard work and perseverance. Now, this transit may also push you to release old patterns, attachments, or limiting beliefs, paving the way for spiritual and personal growth. Now, the best remedy which you can have in this period is accepting the ideologies of the opposite group. Like if you are a conservative, then you should start accepting the ideologies of the different group, which is maybe they are liberal. You should listen to liberal people and you should try to relate with them. You should try to understand the structures and ideas they are putting in front of you. You just try to understand and just try to grab whatever they are telling you. It will immensely help you in this transit, because Saturn is a yoga karaka planet for you. So this is a good transit and you should look towards it. Although the Saturn is a yogakaraka planet for you, it will greatly depend in which position it is placed in your birth chart, and the second thing, which Mahadasha you are going through, you are running through. Like if you are running through Rahu's Mahadasha, then all the results for these 2.5 years will greatly differ, because then the whole chart will align with your Rahu's energy, not with your Saturn's energy. Now, if you are going through a Venus Mahadasha or Antardasha, then the chart will align with that energy. Why? Because as Saturn transits into this Pisces sign, what he'll see is that he'll see a Rahu, which is already there, and he'll see a retrograde Venus, which is already there. And as soon as he enters that sign, he'll meet these both planets. And I'll be making a video next week on this particular topic. What is this planetary war and what is exactly going to happen in this sign of Pisces? Now, if you have to know deeply about it, and if you want to gather information how it will affect you, and if you are running through your Rahu Mahadasha or Venus Mahadasha or Saturn Mahadasha or any other planet's Mahadasha, Jupiter's especially, everything is happening in the sign of Pisces. So you'll have to stay connected and you have to definitely watch that video. So let's move forward and understand this transit for the Gemini Ascendants people. So for Gemini Ascendants, this transit is going to happen into your 10th house, where the sign of Pisces falls. It is in your 10th house. So this transit activates your Earth Trikon. So this Saturn transit brings strong focus on career and professional growth. Now, with this transit, you may experience a transformation in your public image or your professional goals also, with the shift towards more meaningful or spiritually aligned work. Why? Because the energies of the Pisces sign, which is a Moksha Trikon sign, flows into your 10th house. Success will come through disciplined effort and patience and a sense of responsibility. This is also a time to let go of ego-driven ambitions and embrace a more selfless approach towards your career, especially because everything is happening into your 10th house. Now, the 9th house, which is your 9th house, is Aquarius, and the Saturn is the Lord of Aquarius. So Saturn here influences your sense of purpose and higher learning, teachers, gurus, or father, and also spiritual growth as well. So this transit encourages you to take a more structured and mature approach towards your beliefs and philosophies and your relationships with your father as well. See, now this is a thing which you should understand, is that if in these 2.5 years you haven't been with your father or your teacher where you should have been, where you should have devoted your time to, you will face struggles in your career this time. Why? Because see, Saturn gets exalted in the sign of Libra. So Saturn is all about justice. The one word which we can attach to this planet is about justice. Wherever it transits, it checks whatever you have done in the past 2.5 years, which is the Aquarius sign. So your Aquarius sign is falling into the 9th house. So if you haven't done things, you haven't done great things with your father, or you haven't spent time with him where you should have, these things will not manifest in good way. But if on the other side, if you have done these things, you have devoted your time, you have cared for them in their bad times and in diseases, then surely there's success coming into your way, especially related to your career and professional growth. If you are, especially these Gemini Ascendant people, if you are going to give any government exam, if you are going to write any exam for a job, or if you are going to give a certain interview for this job, then you'll find extreme success here. Because why? Saturn is also the karaka of foundation. So the foundation for your career will be laid in this period, in this 2.5 years. You'll just have to stay calm and patient, because the starting 6 to 5 months won't go as promised, but you should trust the process, and there are good results waiting for you in these next 2.5 years. The Capricorn sign, which is falling into your 8th house, is also ruled by Saturn. So Saturn's lordship over this Capricorn sign highlights themes of transformation, shared resources, and some karmic cycles beginning and their ending. This transit may bring a profound change in your life, pushing you to release old patterns and attachments or limiting beliefs. So it is a time for inner work, healing, and embracing spiritual liberation. Because Pisces is originally the house of Moksha Trikona, and one of the original Moksha Trikona, which is the 8th house, is involved here in case of Gemini Ascendant. So Saturn's influence, it demands disciplines, patience, and mature approach to achieving professional goals. So you have to stay calm. This is the major theme in your case. Now Pisces here brings a spiritual undertone, encouraging you to let go of ego-driven desires and embrace selfless service. And if you have done these things in the past 2.5 years, when Saturn was transiting in the Aquarius sign, then you'll feel unprecedented growth in your career, especially. Why? Because 8th house, which is suddenness and transformations, are also related. So the first thing is that the foundation of your career will be laid in this period of 2.5 years. The second thing is, because 8th house is also activated, so you'll be able to feel the energies of the 8th house in a profound way. Why? Because Saturn is again transiting in the Pisces sign, which is also a Moksha Trikona sign. So I believe this is a very good transit for you. Saturn is a neutral planet for you all, and it is transiting in the 10th house, which is again originally Saturn's house only. So you will be able to feel good results out of this transit. Now the Saturn's transit for Cancer ascendants will be happening in the 9th house, and Saturn is a neutral planet for you all. Why? Because although the Saturn's Mool Trikona sign, which is Aquarius, falls into your 8th house, which is a Doshtana house, but then the other major sign, which is Capricorn of Saturn's lordship, falls into your 7th house, which is a Kendra house. So it makes Saturn a neutral planet for you all. So now this Saturn is transiting in your 9th house. So it brings a mix of challenges and opportunities, emphasizing maturity, responsibility, and hard work. See, the sign of Pisces, it is inherently linked to Moksha Trikona, or liberation, transformation, and emotional quotient, at themes of devotion, transformation, and spiritual growth in a profound way. Why? Because your 8th house, which is also a Moksha Trikona house, is involved here in this transit of Saturn, because Saturn possesses the lordship of that Aquarius sign, which is your 8th house. So you will feel some drastic transformations related to your 9th house, which is your beliefs in general, which are your religious beliefs, which are your spiritual beliefs, which are the relationship you possess with your father, teachers, or mentors in your life in general. So all these things will go through a major transformation this time. Now this Saturn's transit also focuses on higher learning, and especially for spiritually higher life purposes. You may also feel that you are drawn to deeper studies, long distance travels, or spiritual practices as whole. All the things will add up to the transformation and liberation in your life. Now this is a time for you to embrace a more disciplined and mature approach to your beliefs and philosophies. Now you may see certain responsibilities regarding father, teachers or your mentors in a profound way in these 2.5 years if you haven't been paying attention to them since these last 2.5 years. Suddenly these issues are related to your mentors or fathers or gurus will come up. Now, as the Lord of Aquarius, which is falling into your 8th house, this Saturn again influences the themes of transformation, resource, and karmic cycles. This transit may bring profound changes in your life, pushing you to release old patterns, attachments, or limiting beliefs. Why? Because one cycle of Saturn is ending, which is in the Pisces. Now it's a time for inner work or healing or embracing spiritual liberation. Now the other thing which we see with this transit of yours for the Cancer ascendants is that the Capricorn sign, which falls into your 7th house, it activates the calm trigon. So Saturn's lordship over Capricorn highlights partnerships, relationships, and collaborations in a general way. So this transit may bring a sense of sensibility and maturity to your relationship, encouraging you to build a stronger, more stable connection. Also, you might see if you have invested your time in your spouse or your partner prior to this transit, then this Saturn in Pisces may result taking serious guidance from your spouse and your partner, that they may become your father or mentor for these 2.5 years. However, it may also require to let go of relationships that no longer serve your growth. Like if you are struggling in any relationship and you are not trying to overcome that thing, so these issues will be resolved now. Why? Because Saturn, see, in classics it's written that Saturn is about misery, sorrow, grief, everything negative in our lives. But why is it so? Have you ever thought about this? This is because this is the age of Saturn. Saturn is the most beautiful planet and the most desired planet which a person should want in their horoscopes in these times of Kali Yuga. Why? Because Saturn is the justice. Saturn is the justice giver. It imparts justice because it gets exalted in the sign of Libra. So if you are struggling through something which is related to your 7th house and you are not able to overcome it, then this Saturn will give you that courage to fight against it. This Saturn will fill you with that kind of transformative fire that you'll see inside you, that you have to overcome through these things and you have to begin a new life, a new cycle. You have to end this old pattern. Why? If you'll not end this pattern, so maybe the situation might go worse than the current state. So it's better to let go of certain things if they are not adding into your life and they are just continuously degrading you day by day. So it is better to let go of them and start something new. So this Saturn transit promises all those kind of things. And if you have great relationship with your spouse or your partner and you are doing great, people look up to you as couple goals and everything like that, so this transit definitely it promises you that all the karakas of the 9th house will be manifested in your life. Why? Because you have performed your duty of being a spouse, of being a partner very faithfully, with every inch of loyalty. So this Saturn will bestow you with everything which is related to the 9th house, which is also the house of fortune, which is also the house of luck, which is also the house of fame. So you'll see all these things coming into your life. So it is a beautiful transit for all the Cancer ascendants, I must say, and it is a very promising transit as well. So Saturn will either close some long-standing issues or it will manifest itself beautifully in the 9th house and it will add up to your fortune, your well-being, your fame, your assets, your spiritual beliefs, your guru and your guru-shishya relationship, your mentor-student relationship in a profound way. So let's move forward and understand the transit for the Leo ascendants. So the Saturn's transit for Leo ascendants will be happening into the 8th house, which is again a moksha house. It is originally the house of moksha trikona. So for the Leo ascendants, it activates that moksha trikona, and the Pisces sign, which is originally a part of moksha trikona, is falling on their moksha trikona only. So this transit will bring a focus on transformation, karmic cycles and liberation in a profound way for you all Leo ascendants. As the Lord of the Aquarius, which is falling into the 7th house, and the Capricorn, which is falling into the 6th house of yours, Saturn's influences flows through partnerships, enemies, deaths, and health. Being a neutral planet for all the Leo ascendants. Why am I saying this? Because the Mool Trigon Rashi of Saturn falls into the 7th house of your natal chart, which is a Kendra house, which is a good house. You will not take it as a bad planet. Being a neutral planet for all the Leo ascendants, this Saturn's transit brings a mix of challenges and opportunities, emphasizing maturity, responsibility, and hard work. So this transit for you all Leo ascendants is particularly significant as it forms the only Vipreet Rajyog in this whole transit. The Lord of 6th house coming into your 8th house. It promises immense prosperity and transformation if the native has endured chronic challenges before in these 2.5 years when Saturn was transiting in the Aquarius sign. Now the 8th house where it is transiting in the Pisces, so this brings profound transformations, karmic healing and liberation from certain life cycles and patterns. If you have faced chronic struggles, this transit marks the end of those challenges and beginning of some new phase filled with sudden positive changes. Why? Because see, the themes of dissolution such as the end of deaths, enemies or diseases are highlighted. This is also a time for deep spiritual growth and letting go of past burdens which you have been facing through all these time when Saturn was transiting in the Aquarius sign. Why is it so? Why is this thing going to happen? See, the Vipreet Rajyog is something which is, firstly, you'll have to face some negative karma or some negative situations, and then you'll reap some positive results. This is the Vipreet Rajyog is understood in this way. So now this Saturn transiting into the Pisces doesn't mean that you'll have to go all along the chronic challenges and chronic situations in your life, and then you'll get when it will hit the Revati Nakshatra in the last some days of its transit into this Pisces sign. No. If you have been through all these things, if you have been facing struggle related to your 7th house, related to your 6th house, then the Saturn will bestow you with all the things which are related to those 7th and 6th houses. Why? Because Saturn is the planet of justice and it gets exalted in the sign of Libra, which is all about imparting justice, which is all about giving justice. So when the book of yours will be opened and when the Saturn will see that you have been through all these challenges, you have sailed through all these challenges, then he will bestow you with certain transformations, certain great transformations which you'll feel in your life that they have profoundly changed you. So a situation of death and rebirth will be seen in these 2.5 years of yours. Now, because the Saturn is the Lord of your 7th house, the Aquarius sign is falling into your 7th house, and the 7th house is one of the Kam Trigon houses. So as the Lord of Aquarius, Saturn influences partnerships, relationships and collaborations in your chart. So this transit may bring a sense of responsibility and maturity to your relationships, encouraging you to build stronger, more stable connections this time. However, it may also require you to let go of certain relationships or collaborations or partnerships that no longer serve your growth. Now, Saturn also rules the house of Capricorn, which falls into the 6th house of yours. So it is one of the houses of the Earth Trikon. So the themes of enemies, deaths, health and daily routines are indicated by this Saturn. So this transit may bring resolution to long-standing issues such as clearing debts, overcoming enemies or improving health as well. It's a time to embrace discipline and hard work to achieve stability and success in your life. So in a nutshell, if I have to say, the key themes for all the Leo ascendants this time with this transit of Pisces in the 8th house of your natal chart is a strong focus on karmic release, inner healing and spiritual transformation, because both the houses and sign of water element are involved here, which is the Pisces and the original 8th house. The only Vipreet Raj Yoga which is forming in your case in this transit, so it will be manifested profoundly in your case. If you have endured chronic struggles, this transit promises sudden prosperity, the dissolution of enemies, deaths and diseases, and a transformative shift in your life. So a very major point to note here is that this is the time to address health issues, clear debts, and establish a disciplined routine for you all for the long-term success before Saturn transits into the Pisces on 29th of March 2025 to reap best results possible. All the things which I've told will take a sharp U-turn if you are running through your Rahu Madasha. All the results will greatly depend on the placement of Rahu. Now, if you are going through the Saturn Mahadasha, then you will be able to reap all these results which I have told in the previous section. As the Saturn will transit into the sign of Pisces, it will meet a retrograding Venus and a Rahu, which is already present there. So a kind of planetary war situation will be seen with this transit. So you'll have to judge accordingly that how will it manifest and how will it give you results. Because if you are running through the Rahu Madasha, all the energies of your chart are aligning with Rahu. If you are running through the Venus Madasha, then all the energies are aligning with the Venus. And if you are running through the Saturn's Mahadasha, then all the energies are aligning with your Saturn. So to understand this concept in a wide and in a deeper way, you'll have to look for my next video, which I'll be dropping next week, which is the planetary war between Rahu, Saturn and Venus. What is exactly going to happen in the 8th house of yours especially. So for that you'll have to stay connected and you'll surely have to watch that video. So now moving forward, and let's understand this transit for the Virgo Ascendants. So this Saturn transit for the Virgo Ascendants will be happening into your 7th house where the Pisces sign falls. So the transit of Saturn into your 7th house, it will bring focus on partnerships, relationships and collaborations in a great way, because it is the 7th house which Saturn will be transiting into. As the Lord of Aquarius, which is your 6th house, and the Capricorn, which is your 5th house, Saturn's influence flows through your daily routines, health, creativity and love affairs, learning, education, children in a profound way. So being a neutral planet for you all, the Virgo Ascendants, Saturn's transit bring a mix of challenges and opportunities, emphasizing maturity, responsibility and hard work here. See, the 7th house is one of the calm Trikona houses. So it also represents desires. Calm Trikona represents desires a person possesses in his or her life. So Saturn transit here brings a strong focus on partnerships, both personal and professional level. Relationships may require more effort, maturity and responsibility, but they also have the potential to become more stable and meaningful. Why? Because Saturn will clear all the clutter from the 7th house. So all those things which are not adding to your growth will be concluded. They will end in this period of Saturn transiting into the 7th house. This is a time to let go of ego-driven dynamics and embrace a more selfless, devoted approach to your connections. Why? Because Saturn will find Digbal here in the 7th house. So the transformation in relationships is likely, with some partnerships ending and new, more aligned ones beginning. Why? Because Saturn will clear all the clutter, and you may also face that you have been you go through some ups and downs, some major ups and downs and transformations in partnerships, especially in the realm of partnerships. So you might think that it is because of Saturn. No, it is not because of Saturn. It was already happening since these 5 or 2.5 years, but it is Saturn which is shedding the light, just trying to protect you so that you do not fall down from that cliff. This is important, and Saturn is the savior. Saturn is the most beautiful planet which gives you warning, it alerts you, and it is the Kali Yuga, it is the time of Saturn. So Saturn won't do wrong to you, especially when it is a neutral planet and it is ruling one of your Trikona houses, which is the 5th house. Saturn being the lord of the 6th house, the sign of Aquarius, the 6th house is one of the houses of the earth Trikona. So as the lord of Aquarius, Saturn influences the themes of health, daily routines and overcoming challenges in your life. So this transit may bring a disciplined approach to your work and health, helping you resolve long-standing issues such as deaths, conflicts or health concerns, or matters related to court, meaning court cases. It's a time to enhance hard work and patience to achieve stability and success, because Saturn will be receiving extreme digbal, extreme chestabal in your 7th house. Now the ruler of the 5th house, because Capricorn sign falling into your 5th house, which is a Dharma Trikon. The 5th house is the part of the Dharma Trikon. So Saturn's lordship over Capricorn highlights creativity, learning, and children, romantic pursuits in your life. So this transit encourages you to take a more structured and mature approach to your creative pursuits, education, or spiritual growth as well. Because 5th house is the house of Purva Punya too. So now you may feel drawn to deeper studies or activities that bring transformation and liberation. Here you may also feel that this Saturn, if it is transiting over your natal Jupiter, meaning that if you have Jupiter in the 7th house of your natal chart, so this might also indicate that you will be getting married. Why? Because Saturn is the curve and Jupiter represents everything. It represents family, prosperity. It is the karak of children and everything, and especially husbands and partners in a female chart. So Saturn, if it is transiting over your natal Jupiter, so it highly indicates that the chances of you getting married in this transit of 2.5 years, there's a profound karma. If you have been loyal, and if you have been through romantic affairs, that is the 5th house, because Saturn is the house of lord of your 5th house as well. So if you have been loyal, if you have been mature enough, and you have contributed to that 5th house in a profound way in these last 2.5 years or 5 years, so you will see great results from this 7th house, meaning it is a time that if you are thinking of converting your love relationships into marriage, you might see them as well happening into your life. Also, with this Saturn, some negative aspects might also uncover, like the person you are dating or you are with since these 5 or 2.5 years. This Saturn might also reflect or uncover some things which are not desirable, like the partner you have been loyal to through all these years is cheating on you, the first thing, or the partner going away without any proper explanation or proper talk about this relationship and abandoning that relationship. So do not demotivate yourself with these things, because it is for your better, it is for your betterment, it is for your good. Why? Because Saturn is the savior. Saturn is that planet. It is the time of Saturn. The Kali Yuga is the time of Saturn. So that Saturn will help you. It won't let you fall down from that cliff. It will just pull you up. And in that action, it might hurt you. You might get hurt in all those actions. You're on the verge of falling from a cliff, but then there comes the Saturn and saves you, and in that process you might get hurt, but in long term you'll see that it is for the betterment and it is for the good. So please do not demotivate yourself from these things. And if it is for the good for you, and if you have been with some person and with some people, you have been putting the right karma there, and they are the best people with for you, you will be converting this thing into marriage and into prosperity, definitely. So this is a good placement and a good transit for you. So the key themes for Virgo ascendants here is partnerships. They may require more effort and maturity on your side, with the focus on stability and long-term growth. Whatever will be happening will be promising you a long-term growth. Your number of business meetings or meetings with new people might shrink over the span of these 2.5 years. Why? Because Saturn will clean all the clutter from your 7th house. So the Saturn's influence encourages a mature and structured approach towards creativity, education, and romantic affairs and spiritual growth as well. Now, as I've said, that you can also judge this transit from the point of Ashtakvarga. You should check it out from the timestamps I've given below. But see how this transit of Saturn will unfold for you. It will greatly depend on which Mahadasha you are running through. If you are running through the Rahu's Mahadasha, then your chart is aligning with the Rahu's energy. If in the Saturn's Mahadasha, you are in the Saturn's Mahadasha, your whole little chart is aligning with the Saturn's energy. So you have to check that and you have to understand that. For that, I'll be dropping a video next week, that how will these things manifest, that how will Saturn, when entering into the sign of Pisces, upon meeting a retrograding Venus and a Rahu will affect you, and how it will, this planetary war, this event will manifest in your life, and how this whole event will affect your chart being the Virgo Ascendant. You'll have to look for that video, and you'll have to stay connected for that video, which I'll be dropping next week. So let's move forward and let's understand this transit for the Libra Ascendants. So the Saturn's transit for the Libra Ascendant. So being a Yoga Karaka planet for you all, the Libra Ascendants, the Saturn will be transiting into the 6th house of your, which is Pisces, and it is the lord of 4th house and the 5th house in your chart. So now this transit promises a growth, but with a strong focus on empathy, responsibility, and hard work. The sign of Pisces is inherently linked to moksha, which is liberation or transformation, which is the sign of a water element. So, you will see themes of transformation, spiritual growth in a profound manner. Because it is transiting into the 6th house of Pisces, the 6th house is one of the major house of the Earth Trikona. So Saturn's transit here brings a unique blend of discipline and spiritual, well-being in your life. You may feel drawn towards holistic or spiritual healing methods such as yoga, meditation, or alternative therapies to address chronic health issues of people, of downtrodden people especially. Your approach to work may shift from competitive to collaborative, focusing on serving others rather than personal growth. Why? Because the Saturn finds the Digbal here in the 6th house. Now, Saturn's influence can help resolve long-standing issues, conflicts, or deaths related to your 5th house, which is children, and your 4th house, which is your mother, but only through patience and a disciplined approach towards all these issues. Pisces encourages forgiveness and letting go of grudges, which may be the key to resolve these issues, because here the two important houses, one Kendra and one Trikona house is involved. So you'll have to, and both the living karakas of that house, the mother and the children, are some sensitive portion of your life. This is the Pisces energy. The Pisces energy is what you need to deal issues with your mother and your children. You will be inclined to opt for a soft, sensitive method towards resolving these issues. So this transit is about balancing practicality with spirituality, ensuring that your efforts are grounded yet infused with higher purpose. So I think that within these span of 2.5 years, you shouldn't be having any ego battles, especially at your workplace or with your people, with your servants, or the people coming from the downtrodden section. As ruler of the 5th house of your horoscope, the Aquarius sign falling in the 5th house, Saturn brings structure and maturity to your creative and intellectual pursuits. Now, you may feel inspired to channel your creativity into some meaningful projects such as social causes or technology or some humanitarian work. Now, Saturn's influence ensures that your efforts are disciplined and impactful. So if you are working on something creative which is related to some humanitarian work or some social cause, it might find extreme success in this 2.5 years. This is an excellent time for education or skill development, especially in fields related to science, spirituality, or innovation. However, success will require consistent effort and focus. Now, if you are in a relationship, this transit may bring a more serious and committed tone in that realm. For those with children, you may take on, a more responsible role in their lives, in their upbringing, guiding them towards independence and self-discipline. These will be the major themes towards your children and your love affairs, your romantic life. Now, Saturn's presence here in the 6th house encourages you to align your passions with your higher purpose, ensuring that your creativity and intellectual pursuits have a lasting impact. Also, your relationship with children and your relationship in normal romantic affairs, they are connecting you to some higher purpose, maybe some platonic relationships. You're building some karmic relationships. They are not on this basic ground level, but they are for the higher purpose. They are for the moksha or liberation, because it is this Pisces sign in which Saturn will be transiting. Now the fourth house, the Capricorn, is again a moksha trikona house. So the Saturn's lordship over Capricorn highlights the themes of home, family, emotional stability, security, boundary, but with the transformative twist in your case. You may feel a stronger sense of responsibility towards your family, particularly in providing emotional and financial stability to them. This could involve taking care of your aging parents, or resolve some long standing family issues which might have uh, disturbed you emotionally in these past years. So the fourth house rules the inner peace, and Saturn's transit in the sixth house may bring up some past emotional wounds for healing as well, because Pisces' energy encourages you to approach this process with compassion and forgiveness, leading to profound emotional liberation. If you are involved in property matters, or purchasing some vehicles, this transit may bring delays or challenges, but ultimately it will lead to long-term stability and growth. Now this transit is about building a solid foundation for your emotional and material well-being, while also embracing the spiritual lessons of letting go and surrendering to the higher force, the higher, greater consciousness, the divine. Because, see, in the most mundane terms, in the most basic terms, it is all about balancing. Saturn is the justice imparter, it imparts justice, and it wants you to create a sense of balance in your life because it gets exalted in the sign of Libra. So if you have that balance, if you have been following that balance and making that balance, so you will prosper in your life. Your enemies, your deaths, your diseases will be finished, and you'll live a normal life and a more prosperous one, because Saturn is a yoga karaka planet for you. But if not, you will be determined to make that call, because Saturn, being a yoga karaka planet, will transiting into the sixth house, which is a Dushtana house, will not negatively impact you. It wants you to become more structured and more organized in your life, to follow a specific daily routine, to connect yourself with that higher being. So you should look towards the Saturn transit, and it will greatly impact you in a positive way. Also, all the things I've said will manifest if you are running through Saturn's Mahadasha, or your Saturn's Antardasha, or if Saturn has given you good points in your Ashtakvarga table, that is more than 3 points in your Ashtakvarga table in the sign of Pisces, not in Aquarius or Capricorn. So these things will manifest in a profound way. But if not, so how will these things manifest? If you want to know these things, then you will have to stay connected, because I'll be dropping video on planetary war, that how will these planetary war, that Saturn entering into Pisces and finding a retrograding Venus and Rahu already there, and then Saturn entering into Pisces and Rahu transiting over Saturn and entering into Aquarius will affect you. How will this conjunction and this planetary war of Saturn, Rahu and Venus will impact you in a profound way? For that, you'll have to stay connected, and you'll have to watch that video which I'll be dropping next week. So let's move forward and let's understand this transit for the Scorpio Ascendants. How will it manifest in their lives? Now, Saturn's transit for Scorpio Ascendants will be happening in the 5th house of Pisces. It activates the Dharma Trikona, because 5th house is a part of Dharma Trikona, bringing focus on creativity, learning and purpose, and mainly the duties you have in this life of yours. Being a father, being a husband, being a brother, being a son, the Dharma Trikona basically joins you with your duties in a mundane way, on a basic level and on a higher level. So this Dharma Trikona will be activated by Saturn when it transits into your 5th house. So this Saturn will bring focus on creativity, learning, education, romantic affairs and children and higher purposes in your life. Also, being the Lord of Aquarius, the 4th house, which is the Moksha house, and Capricorn, the 3rd house, which is a Kama house, Saturn channels energies of innovation, social circles, and corporate discipline, into this transit of yours. But a major theme to look here is Saturn's enmity with Mars, your Lagnesh or your first house lord, your ascendant lord. So what it demands? Because Mars get exalted in Capricorn, which is a sign of Saturn, so this Saturn demands maturity, patience and resilience from your side. So when Saturn will be transiting in your fifth house, your creative projects or may take a spiritual or humanitarian tone. Think art for social causes or writing on transformative themes. Saturn's disciplines ensures long-term impact, but progress will be slow and steady. Now, you engaging into advanced and deeper studies on spirituality, psychology, or related to healing could lead to profound personal transformation for you. Because Pisces encourages you to let go of rigid thinking and embrace intuitive knowledge. Embrace something which gives you liberation, which gives you transformation, because the theme of transformation is ruled by Scorpio, which is also a water element, which is a sign of water element like Pisces, and it also constitutes the moksha trikona with Scorpio along with the Cancer sign. So your relationships may feel more serious with a serious tone, with a focus on long term commitment, because Saturn is commitment. For parents, guiding children towards independence and self discipline becomes a priority, because fifth house is also your children. The Saturn, the foundation of long term romantic affairs, the foundation of a long term happy relationship with your children will be laid in these 2.5 years. Now, the Saturn being the lord of Aquarius, your fourth house is the part of moksha trikona, the fourth house. So the Aquarius brings a modern, unconventional approach to your family and home. You may experiment with new living arrangements, technology at home, or even social activism within your family circle. Now, friends and social circles and social networks could play a key role in resolving emotional wounds. Group therapy, community support, or online networks may help you heal and grow, because Saturn, being the lord of fourth house, will give you emotional stability and maturity. If dealing with property, think outside the box, like think something innovative. For financing some unconventional investments, you should think about, or they could yield long term gains for you in this period. If you want to invest into something, think something which is innovative. If you want to purchase some property, think something which is innovative, then you will reap good gains in this transit in these 2.5 years. Now, Saturn being the lord of Capricorn, your third house is one of the calm trikona houses. So the Capricorn's energy brings a structured corporate approach to your efforts, whether in business, communication, or personal projects. So you will need to follow a clear plan and work systematically in this 2.5 years. Why? Because Saturn, being the lord of the third house, is transiting into your fifth house. Instead of impulsive actions, you should take calculated risks. This is a time to build strong foundation for future success. Even if progress feels slow, you should just carry on to that path. You should be walking. You do not have to stop at any cost. Relationships with siblings may require a more formal or disciplined approach. You could also collaborate with siblings or peers in structured, goal oriented projects. You might also collaborate with your siblings to pursue creativity as well. As Saturn challenges Mars, the Lagnesh, you'll need to balance your natural assertiveness with patience and discipline. This tension can lead to significant personal growth if handled wisely. Otherwise, you might see certain problems in this transit. But the key thing is that the person associated, the living karaka associated with this transit is your mother and your siblings, your younger siblings especially. So if you haven't been doing good with them, you haven't been into good relationships with your mother and your sibling, they might get resolved. These disputes might end in this transit, and it will end negatively or positively. For that, you'll have to check the placement of the Saturn in your natal chart. Also, the conditions when Saturn will be transiting into Pisces, that is, Saturn, when it will transit into Pisces, it will meet a retrograding Venus and Rahu. So you'll have to check the placement of both the planets in your the D1 natal chart. How are they performing? Because then there will be a planetary war. And see, in classical text, it's written that the conditions when a planet enters a new sign, a new transit begins, will be taken, will be carried into the whole transit. If this planetary war comes fruitful to you, then you'll reap good results. If not, then you'll get some difficulties and challenges out of this transit. For that, you'll have to stay connected, and for that, you'll have to check my next video, which I'll be dropping on the planetary war between Saturn, Rahu, and Venus next week. So how this transit will actually manifest in your life, you'll have to stay connected, and you'll have to definitely watch that video. So let's move forward and let's understand this transit for the Sagittarius natives. Now, so this Saturn's transit into the 4th house, which is the Pisces sign, the Pisces sign falls into your 4th house, activates the Moksha Trikona itself, bringing focus on home, family, and emotional stability. As Lord of Aquarius, the 3rd house, which is a Kama house, which is a house of Kama Trikona, and Capricorn, the 2nd house, one of the houses of the Earth Trikona, Saturn channels energies of courage, communication, and financial discipline. And the Pisces adds devotion, transformation, and liberation, making this a deeply introspective and transformative transit. So you'll see that all the Sagittarius ascendants are doing good right now, because their Venus, the exalted Venus, is transiting into their 4th house. So you must be buying some properties, so you must be buying some vehicles. But this transit, when the Saturn will enter into your 4th house, will meet a retrograding Venus and Rahu. So your home may transform into a space for spiritual practices, healing, or creative pursuits. Pisces encourages you to infuse your living environment with compassion and devotion. To have that spiritual well-being present into your house. Past emotional wounds may resurface for healing. Saturn's discipline helps you to process these emotions with maturity, while Pisces encourages forgiveness and letting go. You will be dealing with all the issues, all the emotional baggages you were carrying since these past 2.5 years or 5 years. All the emotional clutter will be cleaned. The emotional side of your personality will be cleaned. The slate will be cleaned, so that you can write new emotional connections and relationships on that slate. If dealing with property, expect some delays but long-term gains. You may also feel drawn to reconnect to with your roots or ancestral traditions for emotional grounding. Because see, you might also want to run back to your mother. Why? Because the mother is the only entity in your life with whom you want to share the first success with, which whom you want to share all the happiness with, because you know that she is the person who won't get jealous of you at any time. She is the one entity which gives you everything and all the things you need, and she is the only world in this whole world who will be happy when you achieve something. So definitely there is something achieving, and definitely there is something, you connecting with your mother, or getting some emotional grounding or emotional stability in your life. That foundation of emotional stability will be laid. So that foundation of emotional so that foundation of emotional stability will be laid in these 2.5 years. Now, because Saturn, being the lord of Aquarius sign, which falls into your 3rd house, a calm trikona house, it brings a modern, unconventional approach to communication. You may excel in fields like technology, social media, or humanitarian causes, using your voice for innovation and change, usurping something. Like you are usurping some ideologies which you find negative and floating into this environment and in this society. Friends and social circles could play a key role in helping you take these bold steps towards your goals. Collaborative efforts or group projects may yield significant results, because Saturn is the lord of your 3rd house. Now, relationships with siblings, which is also the siblings are also represented by the 3rd house, may require more effort, but they also offer opportunities for growth and mutual support. So Maybe because you invested so much in your sibling, because you were there with them when they needed you, so they will be here with you now in this process when you will be needing them emotionally, and they will be supporting you emotionally in a profound way. Now Saturn also ruling the one of the earth trikon houses, that is the second house, the Capricorn sign falls there. So this Capricorn's energy brings a structured approach towards your finances. This Saturn, this time it wants you to budget carefully, save for the future, and invest in long-term assets. Just do not go for that rigorous ups and downs, basically stock markets. This Saturn is indicating that maybe these next 2.5 years are not good for you to invest in short-term gains or stock markets. Now, this Saturn's influence may challenge your sense of self-worth, pushing you to redefine what truly matters, letting go of material attachments and focusing on inner wealth becomes the key. Your speech may become more measured and authoritative, helping you gain respect and influence in professional or all the personal settings, because the mool trikon sign of Saturn, which is Aquarius, falls into the third house. So speech related issues, technology related decisions, and technology related things, you will see a major transformation there. The fourth house and Pisces brings a focus on emotional healing and everything which, like creating a and spiritually nurturing home environment. Aquarius encourages bold, innovative actions, especially in communication and social circles. Capricorn's disciplined energy helps you build a solid financial foundation, but it also challenges you to reassess your values, the things you have been clinging on since all these years. Saturn's maturity and Pisces devotion combine to help you release old patterns and embrace a more purposeful, liberated life and transformative life. All these things will add up to certain things, like the first is that you'll have to transform in a profound way, either physically, which is going from one place to the other, or emotionally, like maybe you were so mature and you were so practical, you were trying to assess everything on based on pros and cons, and now you are here, now you just want to do all the things based on your hunch, you just want to follow your feelings, you just want to follow what the heart says. So there will be major transformations in your case, and what these transformations will be fueled by, these transformations will be fueled by your second house and your third house, because maybe your family, due to your family pressure, you are seeing your transformation, maybe due to your siblings, they are guiding you towards this transformation, and you might also see death and rebirth of your relationship with your mother, that you are ending certain kind of dispute, you are ending that dispute and you are again starting a new relationship with her. So all these things will be seen in this case. Also, now the things which I have told and the things which I have discussed in this section of the Sagittarius ascendants will greatly depend on which Mahadasha you are running through. Is it Saturn's Mahadasha, or is it Rahu's Mahadasha, or is it Venus's Mahadasha? Why? Because when Saturn will enter into Pisces, it will meet a retrograding Venus and a Rahu. So how will these things manifest in your life? Because there will be a start of planetary war between Rahu, Saturn and Venus. So how is this going to affect you in a deeper way? To know that, I'll be dropping a video next week, so you'll have to stay connected and you'll have to watch that video for deeper perspectives into your transit. So let's move forward and understand this transit for the Capricorn Ascendant. For the Capricorn Ascendants, the Saturn will be transiting into your third house where the Pisces sign falls. It activates the Calm Trikon. The third house is the part of the Calm Trikon, bringing focus on courage, communication and efforts and siblings. As the Lord of Aquarius, the second house, and the Capricorn, the first house, your Lagnesh, Saturn channels energies of financial discipline, self-identity and personal growth into your third house. The Pisces adds everything which is related to transformation, liberation, devotion, spirituality, making this a deeply introspective and action-oriented transit for you. Why? Because third house are our hands. So all the actions we do with our hands are represented by the third house. So Saturn, the Karmesh, the lord of the Karm, your Karm is transiting in the third house. So you will see great transformation. Now how? In what way? Pisces softens Saturn's stern energy, encouraging you to take bold steps with a sense of empathy and intuition. This is a time to pursue creative or spiritual projects that require courage and innovation. Now, because of the third house, your speech and writing may take on a more compassionate, transformative tone. You could excel in fields like counseling, teaching, or creative arts, using your voice to inspire and heal. Also, using your writing, being a writer, being a creative writer. Relationships with siblings may deepen with a focus on mutual support and emotional understanding. Past conflicts could be resolved through forgiveness and compassion. Now, Saturn, being the lord of Aquarius, your second house, brings a modern, unconventional approach to finances. You may explore new income streams like such as investments in technology, social causes, or collaborative ventures which are out of the box. You will get that farsightedness in this transit that you will be investing in something which will bloom in long term. Saturn's influence may challenge you to redefine your values, focusing on long term stability over short term gains. Letting go of material attachments and embracing inner wealth becomes the key for this whole transit. Now, your communication may become more authoritative and impactful and more innovative, helping you gain respect and influence in professional settings, especially because it is the earth trikon we are talking about. So, the 10th house, which is the house of career, constitutes the earth trikon. Now, the Saturn being your Lagnesh and ruling over the first house of Capricorn for all the Capricorn ascendants, it brings a strong focus on self-discipline and personal growth and of personal identity and personality. This is a time to reassess your goals, values, and identity, aligning them with the higher purpose. Maybe you were fighting with this colleague of yours over petty matters, but now you should not do that. You should be get going for a higher purpose. You may feel a stronger sense of responsibility towards your personal and professional life as well. Saturn's influence demands patience and hard work, but it also promises long term success and stability. This transit encourages you to adopt a more disciplined approach to health and fitness, ensuring long term well being. Also, you might see certain issues with siblings, especially younger siblings, might surface in this period. Will these issues be positive or negative? That will greatly depend on the kind of values and work and time and efforts you have been putting into this third house of your with your siblings. If you were ignoring them since these 2.5 years or 5 years, so the Saturn will push you towards taking the responsibility of your younger siblings. And if you have been dealing them with great loyalty and with great maturity, then this Saturn will bestow everything good. Everything, your short travels, your communication, your business meetings, your writing projects, your everything will manifest in positivity. Now, all these transformation I've talked about in your case, and all these liberation and everything I've talked about, the spiritual growth I've talked about, will depend greatly on the kind of Mahadasha you are running through. If you are running through a Rahu Mahadasha, or if you are running through your Venus Mahadasha, or if you are running through your Saturn Mahadasha, it will greatly depend on that. Why? Because the Saturn, upon entering the Pisces sign, will meet a Rahu and a retrograding Venus. There will be a planetary war for at least 10 to 15 days. So before Rahu enters into the sign of Aquarius. So how will these things manifest in your life, and how will this planetary war affect your calm, your desires, your goals in a profound manner? Because it will be happening into the third house of yours, which is the house of Kam Trikon. So you'll have to check my next video, which I'll be dropping next week, on the planetary war between Venus, Saturn, and Rahu. For that, please stay connected. Now let's move forward and let's understand this transit for the Aquarius sign ascendants. So the Saturn's transit will be happening into the second house of yours, where the Pisces sign falls. This activates your earth trichon, because second house is the earth trichon house, bringing focus on finances, values and speech. As the lord of Aquarius, the first house in your case, Saturn is the Lagnesh, which is, and Capricorn, the 12th house, which is again a Moksha Trikon house, the 12th house. Saturn channels energies of self-identity, spiritual growth and karmic closure of something or some relationships. Pisces adds devotion, transformation and liberation to all this process, making this a deeply introspective and transformative transit for you all. Now, what kind of transformations and liberation you should expect? So the Pisces here again softens the Saturn's turn energy, encouraging you to view finances through a spiritual lens. You may feel drawn to donate, invest in humanitarian causes, or use your resources for healing and transformation. You should be doing that. You should definitely do that, because Saturn's influence may challenge you to redefine your values, focusing on inner wealth over material gains, letting go of attachments and possessions, and embracing a more minimalistic approach towards life. Now, here this Saturn also represents, it also indicates that there will be resolving or of some standing disputes into your family. If there are some disputes going on in your family since these 2.5 or 5 years, all these things will be resolved and all those issues will be ended in this the transit of Saturn. Will it be positive or will it be negative? That will greatly depend on the dignity of Saturn, your Lagnesh, and the dignity of Jupiter as well, because Saturn is transiting into Pisces. Now in this transit, your speech may take on a more compassionate, intuitive tone, helping you connect with others on a deeper level, especially your family members. This is an excellent time for you to build deep relationships with your family members. Now, Saturn ruling the Aquarius, the first house being your Lagnesh. So, as Lagnesh, Saturn brings a strong focus on self-discipline and personal growth in a very innovative and, out of the box thinking way. This is a time to reassess your goals, your values and identity, and aligning them with the higher purpose in an innovative way. Maybe you should start a YouTube channel about spirituality. You may feel a stronger sense of responsibility towards your personal and professional life, because Saturn's influence demands patience and hard work. But it also promises long-term success and stability. Because Saturn is your Lagnesh, so your resources might go up, they might increase, but for that you have to be spiritually connected to with this world. This transit encourages you to adopt a more disciplined approach to health and fitness, ensuring long-term well-being. You should follow a strict routine, and you should pay attention to yourself and your body and your well-being and your health in a profound way, because Saturn demands all these things. Do not eat that greasy, oily food. Just go on a diet plan and eat healthy. Being the lord of the 12th house, the Capricorn sign falls into your 12th house, so it brings a focus on karmic closure and spiritual growth. This is a time to release past wounds, grudges and attachments, paving the way for emotional and spiritual liberation. Maybe you were clinging to some ideologies. Spiritually, you will have to let go of them. You may feel drawn to foreign lands, cultures, or spiritual practices that bring transformation and healing into your personality. Now, also Saturn's influence may bring sudden enemies or subconscious fears as well. But this is an opportunity for deep healing and growth, because with this transit, I can see that you have some emotional wounds that you have suppressed into your subconscious. So all those things will surface in this transit, but you do not have to become impatient. You have to calmly, patiently attend them and heal them. The second house and Pisces encourages you to view finances as a tool for spiritual growth and transformation, because the Pisces sign falls there. Now, the spiritual liberation, because the Capricorn rules the 12th house, it brings a strong focus on karmic release, as I've said, that you'll have to release, you'll have to let go of those bad things and bad memory in your mind for inner healing and spiritual transformation, because clinging on to those things will definitely result in some negative consequences. So Saturn's maturity and Pisces' devotion combine to help you release old patterns and embrace a more purposeful, liberated life, transformed life. So you should look towards this Saturn transit, and you should buckle up your belt, and you should be prepared for these things, because the 12th house will be transformed and you will be released from all these things in a very profound manner. But the thing is that how will these things start and how will these things manifest, because Saturn being an airy planet and getting into and transiting into a watery sign will of course it will create some hindrances and ups and downs into everyone's life. So how will these things manifest? Because Saturn, and upon entering the Pisces sign, will meet Rahu and a retrograding Venus. So to understand all these things, Rahu and retrograding Venus transiting into your second house, and Saturn upon entering will start a planetary war there. So how will these things manifest in your life? Saturn also being the lord of your 12th house as well. How will you be able to manage these things, and how you will be able to go through these things peacefully, calmly? For that, you'll have to check the next video, which I'll be dropping next week, on the planetary war and how will these things manifest in your life. So please, for that, stay connected and you'll have to watch that video for a wider, deeper understanding. So let's move forward and let's understand this transit for the Pisces ascendants. The Saturn's transit through the first house activates the Dharma Trikon, which is the first house. The first house is the part of the Dharma Trikon, bringing focus on self-identity, personal growth, life purpose, and your personal health. As Lord of Aquarius, the 12th house, and the Capricorn, which is falling into your 11th house, the Saturn channels energies of spiritual liberation, gains, and social circles. And the Pisces, it adds a flavor of devotion, transformation, and liberation, making this a deeply introspective and transformative transit for you all, because this is the watery sign which we are talking about. So Pisces is a watery sign, so it rules transformation in a great way. Now Saturn's transit into the first house of your pushes you to reassess your goals, values, and identity and your health in a great way. This is a time to embrace maturity, discipline, and responsibility in all aspects of your life. If you have been dodging all the duties, because it is the Dharma Trikon which is involved, since these 2.5 years, you might face a major setback here. You may feel a strong sense on a stronger focus on health and fitness, adopting a more structured and disciplined approach to ensure long-term well-being. Why? Because this Saturn will indicate if you have been not paying attention to your health or something which was not going well into your body. So this Saturn will surely indicate that these things you were ignoring, these things now you'll have to take care of these things, so that you do not drive into some dire consequences because of this. Now, especially for the Pisces ascendant, Saturn is not a very good planet. Why? Because the Mool Trikon Rashi of Saturn, the Mool Trikon sign of Saturn, falls into your 12th house, and the other sign which can neutralize this action falls into your 11th house, which is the Upacha house, and it is not a Kendra house, it is not a Trikon house. So this thing might encourage some bad happenings related to your health or your personality. But there is a good news for you all, that because of the Jupiter's Rashi aspect, the aspect of Jupiter in Gemini soften this Saturn's stern energy, because Saturn in entering into the Pisces is a dual Rashi, is a dual sign, and Jupiter is also a dual sign. So it will be aspecting your Saturn by the Gemini concept of aspects, the Gemini concepts of sign aspects, the Rashi aspects. So you should expect some certain opportunities for growth. This combination can help you balance discipline with compassion, leading to positive outcomes. Because when this Jupiter will transit into Cancer, it will again, because of its ninth aspect, the ninth Parashari aspect will aspect the Pisces again, the Pisces sign in which Saturn is transiting. So the Saturn is not unleashed here. It is a good news for all you Pisces ascendants. 12th house being Aquarius and Saturn being the lord of that 12th house brings a focus on karmic closure and spiritual growth. This is a time to release past wounds, grudges, and attachments, paving the way for emotional and spiritual liberation. You might feel that there is a certain karmic cycle which is ending, and there is a certain karmic cycle which is beginning, because Saturn is the lord of your 12th house. Because of the 12th house being involved in this transit, you may feel drawn to foreign lands, cultures, or spiritual practices that bring transformation and healing, and more importantly, your well-being and your health. Now, Saturn's influence may bring hidden enemies or subconscious fears also to the surface, but this is an opportunity for deep healing and growth. Why? Because Saturn was in your 12th house since all these 2.5 years. Now it is transiting into your first house, so all the packages and all the 12th house karakas will be entering your first house. So see, to manifest in a better way, you should concentrate on the positive outcome, that is the foreign lands, the spiritual expenditures. You should not focus on the subconscious fears and losses, and all the negative aspects. You should not focus on the negative aspects of the 12th house. Now the 11th house, Saturn being the lord of your 11th house, the Capricorn sign, it brings a structured and structured approach to gains and social circuits. Now this is a time to work steadily towards your goals, ensuring long-term success and stability. Now here, this Saturn also demands innovative and out-of-box thinking, because Saturn is laying the foundation for you and your personality and your presence. Friends and social networks could play a key role in helping you achieve your goals. Collaborative efforts or group projects may yield significant results. Because the Saturn is transiting into your first house, which also indicates that there will be a foundation which will be laid in this time period of 2.5 years, which will help you to gain success and achieve your goals in a profound manner. It might also connect you to foreign lands as well. Now the Saturn's influence may also challenge you to reassess your desires and aspirations, focusing on long-term stability over short-term gains. Because Saturn is commitment, Saturn is a slow moving planet, so it wants commitment and stability. So over short-term gains, you will be drawn towards long-term investments and long-term gains. The first house, the 12th house, and the 11th house, all involved here, encourages you to embrace maturity, discipline, and responsibility, leading to profound personal growth and growing you into a better being. The 12th house and the Pisces brings a strong focus on karmic release, ending of some old patterns and beginning of some new ones, in a healing and spiritual transformation as well, because the Pisces sign is the Moksha Trikon house. Now Capricorn structured energy helps you to achieve long-term gains through hard work and persistence. So you will have to keep calm, you will have to be steady in this whole transit. Do not lose your cool, and prosperity will come. The Rashi aspect from Jupiter in Gemini softens this Saturn, and you do not have to worry about that, because for over 2 years it will be aspected by Jupiter. So it won't be able to do much harm here in the first house of yours. So now this was my analysis of the Saturn transiting into Pisces on 29th of March 2025. Now if you were able to relate to these indications and discussions which I have told into this video, please drop a comment below and tell me your insights and experiences about these transit, and what do you think about this transit of Saturn transiting into the respective house according to your ascendants. Please, if you like this video, do not forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends and family, and to stay connected, please hit the subscribe button too. Thank you.